Next, we'll go to New Jersey, where we welcome Congressman Josh Gottheimer, who represents the Garden State's 5th District in the U.S. House of Representatives and is a leading voice among American legislators against Jew hatred and a vocal supporter of the IHRA working definition of anti-Semitism. Congressman Gottheimer, please go ahead.
Hi, everyone. I'm Josh Gottheimer. Sasha, thank you so much for your leadership and all you do, and for all of you for inviting me here today. It's great to be back with you. And it's a real privilege to have been part of the Combat Anti-Semitism Movement Summit. It is an amazing gathering, and I'm grateful for all you're doing and all you have done over the years. Let me begin by saying that what CAM is doing on this front in a nonpartisan way is critical to combating the roots of anti-Semitism wherever we see it rear its ugly head. As Tom Lantos, the only Holocaust survivor to have served the United States Congress, warned us, the veneer of civilization is paper thin. We are its guardians, and we can never rest. That's why it's so important the international community, and especially all departments and agencies of the American government, adopt and use in practice the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance's working definition of anti-Semitism. In recent years here in the United States, some school districts have considered implementing ethnic studies curricula that could include deeply troubling anti-Semitic content. Specifically, certain model curricula include components that antagonize all forms of Zionism and define anti-Semitism as discrimination against, violence toward, or stereotypes of Jews for being Jewish, while not addressing the use of anti-Semitic tropes, including those masquerading as anti-Israel sentiments. These components directly contradict IHRA's working definition of anti-Semitism. That definition includes, quote, denying the Jewish people their right to self-determination, for example, by claiming that the existence of a state of Israel is a racist endeavor. Our educational programs should be free of bias against any group. We need a united effort to combat rising anti-Semitism and bigotry, including ensuring that we do not fund anti-Semitic curricula in our schools. Adopting IHRA's working definition of anti-Semitism is crucial to identifying and combating anti-Semitism, again, wherever we see it. I've called on the United States Department of Education to ensure that elementary and secondary schools do not engage in teaching of any anti-Semitic or bigoted curricula and encourage school districts to value a curricula that is inclusive and free from bias. Unfortunately, I've had people in my office, sitting in my office, showing me books with anti-Semitism in the books that are being pushed into classrooms as other books that purposely stand up to anti-Semitism or talk about the Shoah removed from the classroom, including in the state of New Jersey, where I'm from. I've also urged DOE to prioritize the rulemaking process for Title VI to ensure students who are perceived to be Jewish, Christian, Muslim, Sikh, Hindu, Buddhist, or other religious groups are protected under federal law, as they should be here in the greatest country in the world. In Congress, I've been a strong proponent of taking all measures necessary to protect students against hate, discrimination, and bigotry, especially Jewish students who face a barrage of anti-Semitism on their college campuses, now more than ever in recent years. Sadly, we have learned from our history that when anti-Semitic rhetoric goes unaddressed, it can fuel increased hatred, violence, and lead to unspeakable acts against Jewish people and others. It unleashes hatred, and we must stomp that out wherever we see it. We also know the knowledge about the Holocaust is beginning to fade, unfortunately. It's more important than ever now for educators to memorialize the Holocaust and discuss and learn from its history. That's why I fought for legislation like the bipartisan Never Again Education Act and helped get it signed into law, and I'm very proud of that, to create a new grant program for the United States Holocaust Museum to ensure schools and teachers have the resources and tools they need to teach about the Holocaust. It's why I've brought together Democrats and Republicans and introduced my new bipartisan legislation, the Holocaust Education Anti-Semitism Lessons Act, or the HEAL Act, with nearly 100 co-sponsors. My bipartisan legislation will ask the U.S. Memorial Holocaust Museum to conduct a study on Holocaust education and efforts in public schools nationwide to understand what our schools are doing, what they are teaching. We need to understand if our children are actually being taught about the Holocaust and understand what they're being taught. Is it just mentioned in passing, or is it actually part of the curricula in a meaningful way? The outcome of this study will show us which states and school districts require or do not require Holocaust education in their curricula, whether or not Holocaust education is merely optional. It will identify the standards and requirements schools mandate on this education, and it will tell us types and quality of instructional materials used to teach, and identify the approaches used by schools to access what students learn, and then to assess what students learn, and then report all of this back to Congress so that we understand what's going on in our country and what we're teaching our children to, again, prevent it from ever happening again. I'm dedicated to doing my part to ensure that never again is not just a phrase, but a reality. To close, I want to thank Cam again for everything that you do to stand up to anti-Semitism and for the fight you put on every single day against hatred in our country. May God bless all of you. May God and continue to bless the greatest country in the world. And I know that if we work together as Democrats and Republicans to stand up to hate and to anti-Semitism in all forms, our best days will always be ahead of us. God bless.
Thank you, Congressman Gottheimer, for your proven commitment to fighting anti-Semitism both in the U.S. and abroad.